name's Graham Jenkins.
Paul Goodnews.
Prentice Sweat.
Graham Lowry.
And our customer was Scott Dunning. The main purpose of our particular project was to be taken to job engineering expos, to be taken to other locations so other places can look at what we do here in the University of Maine Engineering Department. Some of our goals were to have University of Maine colors. We wanted to make it easily serviceable, durable, and continuous use. Those were our main goals for our particular project. At the beginning of the term, this was our original conceptual view of what we were kind of thinking how it would look like. We have kept a lot of these particular themes, but there have been a good number of changes as well, as we'll show.
Building it, we had to focus on using aluminum because Scott requested that it was lightweight. He didn't want it to weigh 250 pounds. Because of that factor, we had to custom make the collars so that we didn't have heavy sprockets, and we had to custom make the drive shaft out of aluminum, which reduced the weight too. And all of the framework is made out of Bosch tubing, which is significantly lighter than steel.
Having the entire frame out of aluminum actually proved to be kind of difficult when we started, because that meant almost no welding, which meant that all the, whenever we placed something around, there had to be pre-drilled holes, things had to be tapped. We couldn't just stick something where we wanted it and weld it. These were some of the design issues that we had. One component that we had, that's the bottom picture right there, is the magnetic lift, where we had this kind of zigzag pattern of a bike chain with magnets. In theory, you'd have a ball that was pressed right up against a sheet of aluminum. The ball would travel. Due to time constraints, and we had to cut some things out of it, and this is one of the things that had to go, because one, the aluminum sheet we're using was too thick initially. We couldn't get the ball to roll on it, and so we sized it down. We were able to get the ball to stick, but then we had 5 or 6 sprockets that we had to have perfectly lined up, and at the speeds we were running it, we couldn't get them all to stay in line with each other without derailing for a couple minutes, so we ended up scrapping that.
Our next feature was the Ferris wheel. This one we did keep. Originally we had them pick up the balls by 2 separate hooks. We tried different strategies to get it to work, but unfortunately tolerancing was our big concern there, and it was very hard to keep those tight tolerances. So eventually we decided to use magnets, and that proved to be very successful in the use of the Ferris wheel.
The third major thing that we had problems with is the chain lift, which is basically a lift that picks balls up at the bottom and brings them to the top. You can kind of see it here in that top picture. It's the first chain that's running up. The original idea was to make 2 hooks, have it come down to a bottom track, sweep through the track, pick up the ball, deliver it to the top. We ran into a lot of problems with our chain because when we bought what they're called K-links, which is what you can see in the red there, they're made for a heavy-duty chain, and we were using an actual bike chain, which is about half the size. So we kind of had to custom fit it. We were going to put hooks on it, but to be able to manufacture hooks in an efficient way, basically what we started out doing is you take a piece of metal, you put it in the vise, you'd hammer it, and you couldn't get the same bends every single time. So we ended up going to magnets. Ran into a lot of problem with the magnets. We finally found a good magnet to use, and then the biggest problem we found with the magnet is when the ball was going up, it wanted to roll onto the bottom of the magnet. So we had to put some kind of cap around it. So we found bottle caps, and that would keep the magnet in contact with the middle of the magnet so it wouldn't roll off. And the other major issue we ran into with the chain lift was our motor. Originally we picked out a garage door opener because we wanted to be able to use the sensors and the piece of the metal that came with it and all the switches. But then we found out that it is a capacitor start motor, and the capacitor ended up staying on all the time, so we had to find a way to bypass it because the engine would overheat after about 3 or 4 minutes. So.
The 4th feature was the Plinko pegboard feature, which it wasn't too big of a problem. Mainly its problem was that originally it had a top that would slide back and forth and kind of select where the ball entered. And what we found with that was that without a long fall, it would just kind of fall through and not be interesting at all. So we found that just removing the top and having it fall into the top, it bounced around and got the behavior we wanted. So that was the solution to that.
I kind of explained the hooks to magnets in with the chain lifts.
This is our final design. Basically, as you see it outside, or can take a look at it whenever you'd like.
Just special thanks to our sponsors. The SET department was our head sponsor. Sweats Tire, my parents' business, ended up donating part of the Lexan and some of the bearings and allowed us to use their facility to weld in. Rose Bike gave us some chain and gave us good deals on all of our sprockets and everything. Bangor Steel ended up giving us all of their steel right at cost. And Somic gave us the door switch that disables the power when you close the door, or when you open the door.
Thank you very much.